Hi everyone, this is Jim. Welcome to this postmortem of my Blitz game number 507. I had the black pieces. My opponent kicked off with e4. I chose e6, the French defense, and now he plays a very rare move, a3. So a3 is just sort of like passing and giving black a chance to move. Let's see. Well, I'll keep the opening book on as long as there's at least one game that got played this way. So I played d5, the normal follow-up, with the French defense, and he took. So at this point, we're in like an exchange French, where the move a3 has been inserted, and white could continue in exchange French lines with d4, just putting a pawn in the center, having a very symmetrical pawn structure, and with his extra move being this pawn to a3 move, which is not entirely useless. So this is not a horrible way for white to play, but certainly not very challenging to black either. But, well, the exchange French in general is a reasonable system for white to play if he doesn't want to get into some of the other more theoretical lines against the French, but it does not promise much of an advantage. Anyway, he plays instead d3, and we are out of the opening book at this point. So not staking a claim in the center, and now black is just better. The extra move that white has made two pawn moves, and black has just made one, so he's had his extra move, but it doesn't impress. He's not really fighting for the center here. And this game has a couple of maybe four distinct phases. So we're in phase one here, and then the first phase, I just come out of the opening with a good advantage, and I just play logically and build on that. So in phase one here, I'm increasing my edge here. Let's see, I developed the bishop to e6. He goes knight c3. We get some normal developing moves. I go knight f6. He goes knight f3. And I go bishop d6. So just getting my pieces out and putting them on logical squares. This d6 square, especially when the e file is open, the d6 square for the bishop is often good. It's a good diagonal for that piece, and as long as you don't have to worry about defending the d pawn, as long as it's well defended by these other pieces, then it's okay. Let's see, he goes h3 now, giving me even more free tempo in a way, although it does, of course, take away that square from my pieces. Anyway, he plays bishop e2. I play c5, grabbing a little more space in the center. Now I've got control over a whole array of squares here on the fourth rank. He castles. I go knight c6. Is knight b5. And at this point, let's see, before knight b5, I had quite an edge, but not necessarily a winning advantage. And this move is just a mistake because the knight is too easily chased away. I'm not going to let him trade the knight for that good bishop. I just drop the bishop back. He develops another piece, and then I kick the knight, and it has nowhere to go except back. So he's lost a couple of more tempi with that with those knight moves. So I kick his bishop. Bishop goes to h4. Play bishop back to d6. It's a good square for the bishop. Although, what's the chess engine say here? Rook, maybe a rook move. Yeah, there was no need really to move the bishop again. Well, there is some need. You want to move the bishop off the back rank so the rooks are connected, and this rook can get into the game. So just maybe not the most accurate move at this point, but you probably want to play that eventually. Yeah, the chess engine wants to put things on the e-file, queen e7 and rook e8. Perhaps putting some pressure on that bishop there. It's an interesting way to play as well. Okay, but this is not bad. Keeping some edge, he brings a rook to the e-file. And then right here in this move, I give away a center pawn. The only piece really defending that pawn is the bishop. The knight is pinned here. And, it's not this move. I keep... let's see, I played bishop e7 first. He trades off the knight and goes queen d2. I go b5, grabbing more space. Plays rook to b1. I guess so his knight can move. He's defending the b pawn. It's this move, 17, bishop d7. So in this move, I give away a center pawn for no reason. So this is phase one, where I just build up a big advantage. And let's see, I could continue with rook to c8, a very logical move, or queen to a5. Queen to a5 is not one I would have thought of, but rook c8 is very logical, rook e8. And queen a5 is interesting, queen d6. So all those moves to activate my remaining pieces would be good. Instead, I decided to reorganize my minor pieces, and I started with bishop d7, which immediately drops the d pawn, and he just takes it. So that's we've now passed from phase 1 to phase 2, and my opponent plays this part of the game really well. He keeps his advantage for quite a few moves and actually builds on it and gets to a winning position. I try to go for counterplay. He takes off this strong bishop. I didn't have a way to save it that I saw. And then he trades off this knight. I took back with the queen, trying to stay active and not wanting to disrupt my pawn structure any further. He goes queen to c3. So he threatens to trade queens, and of course the less material that's on the board, the fewer my chances are. So I want to avoid trades, but he uses this threat of trading to kind of chase my queen around and drive it to some less than accurate squares. Let's see, bishop f3 hitting the rook. Yeah, he drives the queen to less active squares by constantly threatening these trades. Yeah, so finally I find shelter from those threats by hiding all the way over here. But you see White's slowly increasing his advantage, and now with my queen out of the way, he can try and cancel that, activate his other pieces. He went bishop to d5. He's also got the idea of coming in here with the rook. I tried queen c7, and after I moved, I realized, he can play his rook to e7 and increase the pressure on this pawn and pin my bishop at the same time. So he's really getting quite a bit of pressure here. Let's see. I shouldn't have played queen c7. What should I have played? Bishop to c6 to challenge his bishop, but then that allows more trades. Yeah, I'm just kind of stuck. Hard to find good active moves here that don't allow these trades. Queen f6 is another try. Okay, so queen c7, and his advantage increases. He's piling up on this f7 pawn, and I can't really defend it anymore. Go queen d6. He grabs. I take with the rook, and he takes. And the king has to run away, and then he brings his last piece into the attack. So really well played by my opponent, very logical kind of gathering of his pieces and bringing them all into the attack. I go rook to f8 to chase his queen away. Queen drops back to h5. And I play rook f5, chasing his queen. He goes rook e8 check. I grab with the bishop, and then he just, I guess by reflex, takes the bishop back. The way to keep the advantage, the rook check has deflected my bishop away from the defense of my rook. So all he has to do is grab my rook here, and that's where he would keep this winning edge. He's still a pawn up, and his pieces are better. And it's the same color bishop, so this is not going to end in a draw. This is going to be a win for white. But instead he grabbed the bishop. And so now we enter into phase 3, where the tide shifts back into my favor. And now I managed to build up a winning advantage from here. So in phase 3 I start playing well. Rook chasing his queen away. Queen goes to e6. And at this point the trades favor me. So I guess he was still in the mindset of trading, but now he should avoid the trades and play on for trying to hold a draw. And this is a winning rook versus bishop endgame. Even with the extra pawn that white has, there's lots of pawns on the board, and the rook is most often a better piece in the endgame, and it can get active quickly. I start with rook e8. You can see it's also the top choice of the engine. You do have to very quickly get active with the rook. If he can sort of consolidate here and hold on to things, it can get difficult with this many pawns for the rook to penetrate. But immediately I go rook e8, kicking his bishop, and then get to the second rank. And so now I start mopping up. So we're in phase 3, and I'm doing well here. Let's see, takes with the bishop. I pick up another pawn. So now it's just no, he's still a pawn up here. Grabs on a6. I go rook to a2. I figured I would get this pawn. He had no way of defending it. He drops back. grab this pawn. So white has remained a pawn up, but usually you can win these pawn up endgames with a rook, or pawn down endgame, but with a rook versus a bishop. As long as there are enough pawns, he can draw this by trading off the remaining pawns and then trading, say, the bishop and the pawn for the rook, and that's a way for that's a way for white to hold this position. But well, I have a lot of winning chances here. I try to, let's see, oh, he plays g4, and I play g6. I want to make sure not too many of these pawns get traded. He brings his king into the game. I bring my king into the game. And king e4, he gets all the way to the center. He gets to the center first, but now I can go after some of these pawns, cancel. Go after some of the pawns he's left behind. Okay, well, I come down here to a7, it looks like. f4. I was thinking I would go to a2 and come along, or a1 and go along and hit these pawns from behind, but that might have been more active. But well, it looks like this is an okay move too. Rook d7, putting some pressure on this pawn from the front, and now I have the idea of invading with the rook like this and his king. Notice his king is kind of cut off by the rook and it can't move forward. He goes f5, trading off some more pawns. Here it looks like it would be safe for me to take, but I thought it's best to keep pawns on the board. You see this still keeps a winning edge. And let's see, he plays bishop to e6, but here my rook can come in and push his king back. Could he have tried, yeah, bishop to d5 is a better try. Just trying to keep my rook out of the game. After bishop to d5, I try to run him out of moves with just rook to d6. It's kind of a Zugzwang idea. He has no good moves. His king moves away, he loses the bishop. So he has to move the bishop at that point, and then my rook can penetrate. Okay, that would have been a better defense. He lets my rook in, driving his king back. And then this is pretty straightforward. My king here, it's as far forward as it can go and still hold on to this square where the pawn is. But it keeps the pawns frozen, and the rook is free to maneuver. So this is going to be a pretty strong advantage for black here. He drops his bishop back to c4. I maneuver my rook over here, bishop b5, just trying different things, rook to f1. Now I get behind, and I go after his pawns from behind. Goes d4 check. I actually had seen this idea. He can check me and attack my rook, but I take back with check, so he doesn't have time to take my rook. King goes to d3, and now I can go after these pawns over here. Let's see, he plays f6 to drag my king away, and then he gets a pawn back, but I'm now a pawn up with the rook versus a bishop, and it should be a routine win from here. So phase 3 proceeding as planned so far. Goes bishop d7, defending his pawn. Go rook f3, king e4, cancel that. Played king e4. I want to use my rook to keep his king away from the pawns, and so this drives his king to d5. And then I come around with my king. The idea is to actually travel all the way around, something like this. You know, this kind of path. And get around and attack this pawn on this square. And in this position, I can even sacrifice the rook for pawn and bishop and then win with the remaining pawn. So that's kind of the winning plan. He can try and put me off by using his king to block out my king, but I think I'll be able to maneuver in somehow. Anyway, I'm hitting his bishop now, so he drops to c8. I hit the bishop again. Bishop goes to e6. And this just gives me some tempo to get my king around. He goes king e5, hitting my rook, and I just come forward. I think this is all winning, and it is all winning, so I'm playing kind of quickly here. Also, it's been a long game, so I may be low on the clock. I don't remember. Bishop f5. Oh, cancel that. He went bishop f5. That's a good move. That kind of shuts out my rook, and now his king is no longer blocked out. I went rook b4 here. Rook f2 is also a move. This is all good. Rook b4 with the idea of coming down to the third rank and keeping his king cut off along this rank. He steps forward with the king. I go forward with my king. And that was the inaccurate move. That was one inaccurate move. Rook to b2, rook to b3, King to d5. Yeah, king to d5, probably just directly going as quickly as possible for that pawn and bringing the rook down to the third rank. So let's take a look at this. King d5, and suppose he goes here after the pawn. I drop the rook back to b6, and my king gets there in time. I guess that's the point. So we'll see a similar kind of situation in the game. So king c5, not an accurate move. He goes here. Cancel that. He didn't go there immediately. Where'd he go? He went king g6. Okay, so that gives the game back to me because I have this check. Yeah. Let's see, he went king h5. Now the rook is holding on to the pawn. I think I'm good. I might bring my king over. It's still winning. Bishop g6, blocking the rook. And now I see his idea. I missed this idea. But he's using his king to support the bishop to block out the rook. And now he can just munch these pawns. But my king gets here in time. So I should just play king to e5 here. Let's go on. Let's show how the game should have ended. Let's say king. Let's see. It's I played rook takes g6. Let's see. King here. What's wrong with that? Oh, I can't go there because of his bishop. I have to go here. And say he takes the pawn. Then king to f4. And let's see, the bishop can't move, it's pinned. The king can come back. And then I can take the bishop and take the pawn. So that's the winning plan there. My king is close enough. That's the key, is my king is close enough to get over and defend this g-pawn in time. So anyway, I took the bishop right away. I saw my king was close enough, but there's a catch here. King e4. He takes on h6, and I go here to f4 thinking he's winning. So what's the way to play this? There should have been a draw here still somewhere. King to e5 is still a draw. King to e5. Let's take a look at this. King to e5. King takes h6. Defending my pawn. And he goes here. I go here. I guess... oh, here, I get in front of the, yeah, I can't go there, but I can get in front of the pawn. So I can hold a draw at this point. That's the best I can hope for after that mistake of trading too soon. I needed to bring the king over first before trading. Okay, so I traded too soon, and then I get to this situation, and instead of going for the draw by bringing my king around this way, down here, I go directly for the pawn. He takes... I take, and the move I missed is he gets to go here, and so this is a trebuchet situation. He can defend the pawn and attack my pawn at the same time, and to give me the move and force my king away, and white wins from here. So this is the fourth phase of the game where I give up the advantage and lose. So let's see. I stepped away with the king. Cancel that. King to e5. Yeah, I tried to get in front, but he just takes. He plays this excellently well. He can just keep my king from getting in front of the pawn. And if I go back, the pawn comes forward. And an easy win from here, so I resigned. Anyway, interesting game. Couple of lessons there for everyone. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave any comments you have in the section below, and I will see you again soon. Bye.